Hello and welcome to a special Car Dealer Live. I'm James Baggett, I'm the founder of Car Dealer magazine, and today I'm delighted to be chatting to the winner of our inaugural Car Dealer Top 100 list of the most profitable UK dealers is Eddie Hawthorne, CEO of Arnold Clark. Eddie, thank you very much for joining us. How are you?
I'm great, James. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you very much. Nice to see you. So before we crack on, the Car Dealer Top 100 is our unique list ranking dealers on the all-important profit number, not by revenue. It's also the first time franchise dealers and independents have been pitched against each other on a single list. ASE Global, who helped us pull it together, took the EBITDA number to compile the list as it's the fairest way. Numbers have been adjusted for exceptional items presented on the face of the income statement. Now, Arnold Clark recorded an incredible £194.3 million profit number for 2019. The group turned over 4.46 billion, which meant an impressive return on sales of 2.6%. Eddie, an amazing set of numbers there. You and the team must be very proud indeed of what you achieved last year.
Yeah, we are, James. I mean, 2019 was a good year for the company. I think most of the staff worked really hard, and we got the result that we hopefully deserved.
So, Eddie, everybody's going to be asking the same question. What's the Arnold Clark secret?
If I told you that, James, then we wouldn't win every time. The secret is just genuinely hard working and making sure that you're looking after the pennies every day.
I mean, Pendragon, for example, turned over a similar number to you guys, but their EBITDA number came in at 78.9 million. I mean, you're over double that. I mean, that is an incredible achievement for a dealer group. Is there any one key thing that you could say that you could pinpoint that amazing achievement on? I mean, you're very good at used cars, aren't you?
Yeah, we are. I mean, we have a very strong used car business throughout our organisation, and we have our own. We have just now over 30 motor stores which concentrate on used cars. One of the things that we have done, James, is we've spent an awful lot of money on the digital journey with our customers, and trying to make ourselves easy to do business with. So one of the things that we've fully embraced is that digital journey, and believe it or not, giving the customer more power to decide what they want has actually maintained our margins, if not increased them.
There's a big discussion in the industry at the moment, isn't it, as to whether digital is the future. I mean, when do you think that digital sales are going to overtake physical sales in showrooms?
Well, I think 2020 that kind of happened most of the first half of the year, James. But I mean, I think genuinely we've always had a strategy of digital, physical, digital, and the customer starts their journey online, but it doesn't mean that they don't have to be in a physical showroom. I think what we're selling is not a commodity. It's the second biggest purchase that they're ever going to buy, and genuinely the whole point is you need to help somebody to buy that car, and you can't do that fully on the digital journey.
Eddie, tell me a little bit about your history with the firm and your history in the motor trade.
Oh well. Basically, you can tell from the grey hair, James, that I've been here quite a while. I was a professional accountant. I was one of the auditors in the Arnold Clark job. And way back in the late 80s, Sir Arnold asked me if I wanted to come and join him. So I joined him in 1990, and the rest is almost history. I became the MD in 1998. Stopped doing accounts, much to the pleasure of my financial director. He's stopped me interfering with that. So I've been looking after the business ever since. And 20 odd years later, we're still going strong. I think the secret was always working with an entrepreneur like Sir Arnold. He had a different perspective on business, which he's been able to share with me and the senior managers, and really we got on so well because I recognised that it was his train set and I was merely driving it.
And do you think that stability at the top has helped you guys achieve this incredible performance?
Yes, it does. I mean, one of the strengths about Arnold Clark is the communication, and whether that's communicating with an apprentice, a valeter, a technician, an admin, an accountant, a sales admin, everybody is encouraged to talk to the directors and me, and we're very approachable, and that allows for ideas to permeate throughout the business, and it also means that the staff have an interest in actually making the business successful.
And tell me a little bit about that culture at Arnold Clark.
Well, it's based around the fact that we're a family business. We're a private limited company, and we're a family business. We operate in communities, and we try to give back to our communities. We communicate with our staff, and we try to make sure that the progression is from within. We very rarely take people from the outside initially and promote them straight away. We'd rather promote people from within and give them the opportunity to develop their career with us.
And these car dealer top 100 figures obviously focus on 2019. We're going to be running the next ones next year that will focus on the COVID-19 year. Can you give me a little bit of insight into 2020 and how that's been for you?
Well, as you know, James, we're doing this towards the end of December, and I'm counting down the days till I get rid of 2020. It has not been. It's not been my favourite year. I'm sure there's many other people in the motor industry that feel the same. But genuinely, this year has been a tough year. It's been a tough year for everyone, tough year for society. But we've managed to come through it. I wouldn't say relatively unscathed, but we've managed to come through it quite well. We started off first 6 months where we weren't doing particularly well, closing the business completely for a couple of months. Really took a real dent in our income. However, July, August, and the subsequent months have been phenomenal for us, and we've bounced back. I don't think we'll get to the 2019 figures, but it'll be a respectable result in 2020.
So you've managed to recover some of those losses that you made up for, you incurred during the lockdown.
Well, we've recovered the loss. We have recovered the loss, James. The staff have worked exceptionally well. We've trimmed our costs where we needed to. Closed a few dealerships that either were unprofitable, weren't going to meet today's social distance requirements, or genuinely they were surplus to requirements. So we closed 6 dealerships. Tried to employ as many members of staff as possible within those, and focus purely on selling cars this year. And it has been a really good back 6 months for us. Really pleased with the way that the staff have really put their shoulder to the wheel, and we've all worked tremendously hard. So yes, we've brought back the losses, and we will show a reasonable profit for 2020.
Now, you're predominantly based in Scotland, and the restrictions there have changed several times, haven't they? How have they affected your business? Has it been quite frustrating?
I have to say, James, this has been the year of the hokey cokey. I'm in, I'm out, I'm open, I'm shut. I'm looking through the round window, I'm looking through the square window. Yeah, about half of our business is now in England, and half of it is in Scotland. So over the November period, we had a very trying time. Our garages in England, the showrooms were closed completely. Click and collect was allowed, but customers weren't allowed into the premises. However, in Scotland, in Tier 4, there was 59 garages that were affected. Again, showrooms were closed, but car lots could be open, and click and collect was allowed as well. So it has become a relatively trying time to try and keep up with the regulations, but we're all just trying to keep going, James. And I'm pleased to say that we came off the furlough scheme towards the end of October, and have no intention, touch wood, of going back onto
it. And any brands in particular really performing for you?
Apart from used cars, James, I think every brand's had its challenges this year. So nobody really setting the heather on fire from that perspective. But then again, there's none that's been really a real problem either.
And what are your thoughts on the new entrants to the market, like Kazoo and Cinch and the like? You're obviously one of the biggest players when it comes to used cars. I mean, do you see these guys as a threat?
I think anybody coming into the marketplace has to be considered as a threat, James. Whether they'll actually have any traction is yet to be seen. I'm sure they're focused in a certain percentage of customers. But I think the important thing for ourselves and for other dealers is that we've got the physical premises, we've got the infrastructure, we've got the staff. And our customers are quite happy dealing with us. So I think we'll be fine, James.
And what about next year, Eddie? What are your thoughts for 2021? I mean, obviously there's the vaccine on the horizon, the signs of things getting better. Are you positive about next year?
Definitely, James. I mean, well, put it this way, I don't think it can get any worse than 2020. Again, touch wood, I don't think it's going to get any worse than 2020. We set our stall out to sell the same number of cars, if not more, than we did in 2019. Our managers are embracing that challenge, and we all believe that we can do it. Now, provided that the government allows us to have a relatively stable period of trading, I think that's something that we can achieve.
What do you think the new car market will look like next year in terms of total numbers?
I think it will still be suppressed slightly. I would be surprised if it was over 2 million, James. I mean, it's sitting well below that this year, and it was well above it in 2019. But I think somewhere between 1.8 and 2 million will be roughly where the new car market will be. But that's just my guess.
And this buoyant used car market that we've all been enjoying this year, with decent prices and a lot of demand, do you see that continuing into next year?
Yes, I do. I do see that. I mean, I think you can take a little bit of history out of this. 2008 and 2009, we had the financial crisis. We've now had a pandemic. But if you look at the number of new cars that were sold in 2008, it was very similar, if not a bit less. And that then had a knock-on effect on the values of used cars for the next year or so. So genuinely, I think used car values will be strong for 2021. And I think the demand for the used cars are definitely still there. It's still there today. And I think it will be there for most of 2021.
And I mean, topping the car dealer 100, huge achievement. Have you got a message to your staff watching this after hearing the news that you've topped the poll?
Well, I talk to my staff on a regular basis, and I've said this a number of times, but it's a massive thank you to our staff from all the directors. They've worked through exceptionally difficult times in 2020, and the rewards are justified.
And finally, Eddie, what would your advice be to others in the industry looking up to Arnold Clark as the beacon for the motor retail industry at the moment?
Stay positive, watch your costs, and just keep control of your business on a day-to-day basis.
Eddie, a huge congratulations for topping the Car Dealer Top 100 list. It's been a pleasure to chat to you. Thanks ever so much for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, James.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Great stuff. So thanks ever so much to Eddie there for joining us. If you'd like to get all the details on the Car Dealer Top 100 list, they're on our website. It's cardealermagazine.co.uk. And you can click on the Top 100 list at the top of the page. I'll see you next time. Thanks for joining me. Goodbye.